Hello and welcome to Blank Plate, a podcast for Swifties with an appetite.
I'm Sara, and I used to be a little kid with glasses in a twin-sized bed.
I'm Laura, and I'm a mess, but I'm the mess that you wanted.
And we've got a blank plate, baby, and we'll write your name. Here we are. Welcome to Blank Plate.
What's
again.
on our plates?
What is on our plate?
Wait,
honestly,
before we get into this.
Go ahead.
Before we get into this. I'm just going to do a quick plug, okay? If you're joining us on YouTube, hi. Thank you. Make sure you're giving us a subscribe and like this video, but a subscribe would mean a lot because we're trying to get monetized here. So love it. Oh, and also if you're listening to this on any podcast streaming platforms, can you give us a review? Right now we have a couple, but having more reviews helps us gain a wider audience of Swifties. So yeah, that would mean a lot to us. I know it seems a little salesy at the start of our episode, but...
And also just always please share with your Swiftie friends because word of mouth is one of the best ways to get it out there. So...
We're recording this before I head out to another trip to North Carolina.
You're just always on the move.
Everything's been good. Everything's been really chill, except the fact that I was WebMD at midnight last night, self-diagnosing myself with all sorts of deadly diseases.
Right.
So I think we all know this, but never self-diagnose yourself from the internet for your health symptoms that you are having. I learned that the hard way. I've been having some stomach issues / abdomen pain. And I was like, oh my God, I have liver failure. I'm going to die tonight.
Right.
I'm going to have jaundice in the morning. It was bad.
Yeah.
So I'm okay. I went to a real doctor today.
That's good.
I just another warning to not self-diagnose yourself. So
yeah,
that's what's going on with me.
Well, I hear you, but I will also always self-diagnose myself on WebMD.
It's you can't help yourself. You have to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Well, I don't have that much going on. Because it's only been a few days since we last recorded.
I know. We're kind of batching this.
Yeah, but I will give a shout out to what has become kind of my favorite summer activity with Josh is to go mini golfing and get ice cream. Because
how American of you.
I know.
It's Americana.
I've realized that because Josh and I don't really drink, it's kind of our version of a little date night or a way to get outside when the weather's nice, but rather than going somewhere to maybe sit outside and eat or have a drink or something, and to kill a little more time rather than just getting ice cream, we go play mini golf and then eat ice cream. And it's just really fun and it's not that expensive. It's maybe $20 for the two of you to play mini golf, maybe less, and then get a scoop of ice cream. But especially because I work from home, and now that I've been home more consistently, I think this is my second week in a row working completely from home. I get so stir crazy, especially by the end of the week. So
I bet.
and if anyone else works from home and has tips for me, please let me know because a lot of times now, I'll go for a walk in the morning because it's summertime and I can do that. So that gets me outside. But I'll run errands in the evening. I'll go get groceries or something I just need to get out of the house a little bit. But especially a Friday night, this past Friday night, Josh gets home from being at the office and going to meetings all day and he's kind of trying to decompress and watch TV or play video game or something. And I'm I need to leave the house.
What are we doing
I
tonight?
was like, can we go do something? I need to do something. And
Yeah.
so we landed on mini golf. And so I was like, okay, like take an hour to do your thing. And then can we please go? We'll get mini golf and
Yeah.
ice cream. And yeah. And it also, that day was one of the first days that it wasn't like 95 degrees. So the place
Yeah.
where we went, apparently everyone had the idea to go mini golfing that night. So it took us like twice as long as normal to do a round, and we didn't even get all the way through because Josh lost his ball at like hole 12 and they were closing. We're like, all right, that's good enough. Like, let's go
Yeah.
get ice cream.
Yeah.
Like, we
Why
got
is like
what
mini
we
golf?
needed.
Mini golf is such a fall, not it's I'm sorry, is such a summer activity. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure mini golf could be played in the fall and spring, but like
Yeah, but
no.
it's such
It's
a
it's
summer
a
thing.
summertime only thing.
Yeah, and it's like a beach thing. Like we did mini golf on my
Yeah.
birthday, but also on Friday when we went, there was this sweet old gentleman in like golfing behind us that it was just him and his miniature poodle. This man was just mini golfing by himself with his poodle, and the poodle was the sweetest dog we have ever met. And like he would tell her to sit and stay, and she would just sit there and
That is
watch
so
him golf.
cute.
It was really cute. I keep saying, I was like, I miss our mini golf puppy friend. I miss her.
Aw.
Yeah. So it
Well, good
was
for that
sweet.
guy to get out and have some exercise.
I know.
What
I
are you
was
guys gonna do
like,
when it's cold? Are you gonna go
I
bowling? Are you
don't
gonna be a
know.
bowling couple?
I don't know. Maybe we could get into that. There is actually
What's like an
a
indoor?
historic bowling lane in the area, like not far from our house, but I don't know. I'll
Yeah.
probably like go to the gym more, like to like walk on the treadmill and things like that or something. But yeah, I'm
Yeah.
probably gonna get started. But I feel this more when the weather is nice and when
Yeah.
it's light longer. You know, in the winter it'll
Yeah.
be a little easier for me to just like hunker down and hibernate a
Yeah.
little
And
bit.
there Pennsylvania has like the perfect seasons. Like we have a winter, we have a
Hmm.
fall, we have a spring, and like the best way to get through them is like make little activities specific for that season.
Yeah.
Like you do a lot
Hmm.
of puzzling in the winter.
Hmm.
And then you put the puzzles away and then you get them
Yeah.
back out
Hmm.
and but
Yeah.
like that's the way you get through the different seasons. Winter is hard.
Yeah.
Because
We'll see
summer
how
is
that
like
goes.
there's nothing like summer nights in Pennsylvania. Like nothing.
Yeah.
They're
But
so
this is
good.
the problem though, where then I get like depressed if I stay in the house and I get like FOMO of like, I'm not utilizing this weather and this season enough. So I have to go do something, but I don't know what that
Hmm.
something is. So it's hard, you know?
Right.
This is
What
why
is it?
I miss having a dog to walk because that was like the
Yeah.
perfect thing that got me outside every evening. Also kind of broke up the
Maybe
day
you
if I
should
work from home.
maybe you should have a little garden. Like little garden situation because like that's the
Yeah.
thing for me that gets me outside that and it feels like I'm doing something productive.
Yeah, I did used to love that at my house in Lebanon, like mowing the lawn,
Yeah.
weeding, like watering plants outside. Yeah.
Yeah.
Problem is we
It's
like
work
haven't
though,
really been
so if
home
you don't feel
enough.
like doing it.
We weren't really home
Right.
enough like in the spring and stuff to get that set up and we just moved in the spring. So
Right.
maybe next year
It is
we'll
work.
see. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is a lot of work.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, it's a lot of work and I don't like it all the time. So
Yeah.
okay, Taylor news, I mean, we're currently in Air's tour. She's
Hmm.
doing the Europe thing, but I feel like one thing we didn't touch on last episode is like all the Alice in Wonderland Easter
Mm.
eggs that we've been
Yeah.
like treated to.
Yeah, good call.
So,
We did not touch on that and there's been a lot.
yeah, and like I'm going to glaze over some and I'm going to in our show notes I'll tag some TikToks and Reddit threads that go more into depth with this, but like um for the Swifties that don't know what I'm talking about, Travis basically on New Heights was talking to Jason. They were having a tea party, and they
Hmm.
had Alice in Wonderland teacups and tea
Hmm.
kettles, and
This is when they were in
the
London.
quote, of course, Yeah. So
Mhm.
that's why they were having tea. But then the quote that went viral is that Travis didn't know that it was Alice in Wonderland. He said, quote, I also found out over the summer that it's Alice in Wonderland, not Alice in Wonderland. To which Jason replied, you thought it was Allison Wonderland? And he was like, yeah.
Yeah, which everyone was saying, like, I bet the way this happened is Taylor was like, yeah, my middle name is Allison. And he was like, oh, like Alice in Wonderland? And she's like, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about? Yeah.
Yeah.
And like
we
Taylor loves Alice in Wonderland.
yeah,
So
so like we know he learned this from Taylor. Like there's no way he'd
yeah,
learn this from
absolutely.
any other channel besides talking to Taylor.
So like
Yeah.
then of course I'm like, okay, is this an Easter egg? Like are
Right.
we is this something, cuz like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So then I was like, okay, well, she obviously has this song Wonderland from 1989.
Mm-hmm.
And she's done a bunch of things that are very related to Alice in Wonderland. So just like glazing over some of those, going way, way, way back when she was very young in 1989, it just come out in the 55th annual Grammy Awards. Her version of We Are Never Getting Back Together was styled like Alice in Wonderland. Like she had the Mad Hatter white hat on. She had the rabbit on stage. She had like fire, a bunch of like kooky. It was just designed to look like Alice in Wonderland.
Mm-hmm.
She's also said on Jimmy Fallon when she was promoting Red TV that come down the rabbit hole. We're all mad here.
Yeah. When she was talking about Easter eggs.
Like, right. And
yeah.
not to mention, like, the music video for I Bet You Think About Me is basically all Alice in Wonderland coded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The tea party, the red roses, like there's a million things, and I'll link the Reddit thread that goes through all of them because like people are nuts. Like people were going in on this one. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's other ones I'm sure that I'm missing too. She did Lavender Haze where she like puffs out smoke like the smoking caterpillar.
Mm-hmm.
At tea time, everybody agrees, anti lyrics. Long story short, she says, right down the rabbit hole. Like there's a lot of things that are very like clued into Alice in Wonderland. So like, is this an Easter egg or does Taylor just really love the Alice in Wonderland story?
Yeah, because it is. I do wonder if it's an Easter egg with Travis's podcast because they were filming at this like Philadelphia bar in London, which I didn't realize. Like my brother and his girlfriend and a bunch of friends went to see the Phillies play in London in June, so they spent like all of their time at that bar. Because of course they had all the Phillies people there. But so they were having tea, but they could have been drinking tea out of any tea set.
Right.
But it was specifically an Alice in Wonderland tea set. But then I feel like would Taylor have had to coordinate with the owner of the bar to like provide that? Like, is it just a weird coincidence?
I don't know.
Is it just the invisible stringing? You know?
It's hard to know because we read into everything because we are Swifties. She built the asylum for us. So
right. Mm-hmm.
I'm a little confused. And also I do want to say that in the last episode, you claimed to be a 1989 double album truther, and now I am also a 1989 double album truther. I did my research.
What changed your mind?
And I see it.
Yeah.
A variety of things, but primarily the fact that it was styled in like this very beachy way. And if it's going to be like black and white, like black would be like city version. And I like that idea. I also just think that like, I mentioned this before. I feel like my Roman Empire is not understanding why we didn't get a music video. I feel like it's unfinished business.
Especially when she said 1989 TV was like the one she was most excited about. And then also with most of her social media posts about it, wasn't she doing either like 2 blue hearts or she would do like a blue heart and a black heart together for the 1989 TV stuff?
Yeah. And I also...
There were lots of 2s. Yeah.
We know that she kept doing 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
And which she
oh,
keeps doing.
hello.
Oh, there's your confetti.
Yeah.
Oh, there's mine.
Confetti. Anyway, I don't even remember what we were talking about.
We were talking about 1989.
Oh, she was
double album, double emojis, no music video. She said it was like her favorite. Oh, all the twos. That's what it was. We did the peace signs and we got confetti. But she just did double twos at one of her most recent shows. When she says he only thinks about me when I'm on TV, Taylor's version, and then she held up 2 peace signs. So something's going on. The twos are still twoing, but also you mentioning the whole beach thing reminds me that always struck me as kind of odd, because that's the only re-recording where she's like completely changed the vibe and aesthetic of one of the albums.
Mm-hmm.
So especially when like that whole tour was very like neon lights, 80s retro vibes.
Yeah.
And to get this like
even
easy,
the styling of it on the
thing.
Eras tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the beach thing doesn't match it
the
at
Eras
all.
tour is it's that cityscape. It's the electronic lights. It's like all of that. And
yes, right. So where is that? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, where is that?
I don't know. And then she has
I'll link some
new
TikToks
outfits
that talk about it.
Okay. But now on the Eras tour for like this second leg, she has all these new outfits. But people have just pointed out that they match the like cats in the matching suits in that one scene from the Look What You Made Me Do music video. So that would mean it's somehow related to Reputation. So we have no idea what she's doing. We have no idea.
She's up to something. She's up to something.
Yeah.
Well, today we are talking about kind of a foodie related. We are a foodie Taylor Swift podcast, but we're talking about Taylor's tour writer. And I found this fascinating. This came out maybe a month or so ago. But before we get into that, like, what is a writer? A writer is basically a contract, a document, part of their contract that the band or performer will send to the booker related to the requirements that they need for not only like their dressing room and the catering, but also like other things that just need to be taken care of that are special to their show. But most notoriously, performers' writers are about what's in their dressing room and other ridiculous stuff. So I thought it was funny for us to go through some like infamous writers. All of these are alleged. We have no clue if they're real. But these are like alleged writers for like rock stars and pop stars of the past. So yeah. The first one is Unhinged.
I had definitely heard about this one.
And again,
before.
all alleged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one's for Van Halen. Apparently, he needed a bowl of M&Ms, but there must be under no circumstances any brown M&Ms anywhere in sight. But then singer David Lee Roth explained that while this was a real clause, it was in fact a practical request that would determine whether the technical specs of the contract had been thoroughly read and adhered to, which I had also heard that before.
Which is smart. Yeah.
Yeah, because
it's like, did you actually look at our contract? Did you actually care?
Because if there are brown M&Ms there, then they know you didn't read it. You're not actually paying attention. So I get it. I get that.
Yeah. Yeah. Lady Gaga, kind of, I mean, it's more about, I think she was all about the aesthetics with her dressing room. Her writer had furnishings and an accessorized mannequin. And during Monster Ball, her dressing room had to have glam rock fashion and furnishings with white leather couches, fresh roses, and black satin drapes, old rock posters, including pictures of Bowie, Queen, Elton John, Billy Joel, Billie Holiday, and a mannequin with a fluffy pink pubic hair.
This just seems crazy, though. Like, how are these places getting white leather couches? Like, just for a specific artist.
Right. I mean, I will say my mother worked as an arts administrator for not rock stars, but at a small community theater, our community stage that brought in performers, touring performers, and she had to follow with writers. But like none of them were about furnishings. It was like they need water. They need to have they're gluten-free, so they need to have some gluten-free snacks. Like pretty generic stuff. But I feel like when you have a big name, like you can be specific about what you want. And I'm sure there's some normalcy with having the same setup at each dressing room so you can feel like you can like settle in.
Yeah.
You know?
And I can also
like
understand
you have your game face on?
For like Taylor with the Eras tour, she's at each stadium for like 2 to 3 nights, if not more. So it also makes sense to get her set up for, you know, a few days. But most people are there for like 1 night. So it just seems like a lot.
It does seem like a lot. Yeah, it's weird. All right, go ahead and do the next one.
All right, so Elton John required 2 dressing rooms, one for him and then one for his fancy glasses, because apparently he needs a temperature of 16 degrees Celsius or 60.8 degrees Fahrenheit to preserve the accessories. And he also asked for 74 towels. Not 75, but 74.
Like, why? Why do you need towels?
This is ridiculous.
That's
Plus,
wild.
like, what do these places do with the stuff they're not using afterwards? Like, I guess you could, like, maybe rent a couch from somewhere, but
sure,
some of this other stuff. Also, 60.8 degrees is very cold for a room.
Yeah, and part of me wonders, like, are these writers so ridiculous because they had horrible treatment somewhere and then their manager's like, that's not going to stand. We're going to be very specific. Or is it just ridiculous? Like 60.8 degrees?
It's crazy.
Is he going to throw a hissy fit if it's 70? Can he sue if it's over 70 degrees? Like, I'm so confused.
Yeah, I don't know.
Paul McCartney is apparently in his vegan era because he needed 19 leafy 6-foot plants, 4 leafy 4-foot plants. So he wanted a jungle in his dressing room, and he needed vegetarian catering, and including no meat byproducts. And he will refuse to take the stage if a plant exceeds its required height.
That's weird.
Did
he ever actually refuse to take the stage? Yeah, I
mean, really. Yeah.
Well, and then Justin Bieber included 10 luxury sedans and a massage table, as well as a private jet on standby in case he experienced a sudden bout of wanderlust. But I don't get that. Wouldn't he have his own private jet?
Right. Does the stadium provide a private jet? That seems crazy.
Yeah. It's like, at that point, are you even making money by having Justin Bieber there? If you have to pay to have a private jet on standby?
This one is crazy. This next one is crazy, and it's related to Justin Bieber, okay? Again, all alleged. I have no idea if this is true or not. So Selena Gomez, her writer said that no one she worked with during her tour could be called Justin. Any crew member that had the name needed to find a different moniker to go by in order to continue working on the tour.
That is crazy.
That's how you know you were in a bad relationship. If you can't even hear the name, like that's unhinged.
And then Jennifer Lopez, she needed every object, whether it was like the furniture, candles, or the curtains, whatever. Everything needed to be white. Which, like, that's not too crazy. Also,
No,
that doesn't surprise me
that's
for
fine.
her either. I feel like that fits her, you know?
Yeah. Um, so knowing all this context, Taylor's
Hmm.
tour writer, we're gonna go from what we understand about her earlier tour writers. She
Hmm.
requested in 2008 that there was a different package for each day of the week. So like
Uh-huh.
the catering would prepare like Saturday was spaghetti day, Fridays were for pickles, and
Yeah.
Thursday was Twizzler day. Which I'm like, how old was she in 2008? Let's think about that.
She would have been turning 19. So she was
19.
18. Yeah. Right?
Is this her
Yeah.
version of throwing a like themed party? Like, oh,
I don't
Saturday's
know.
spaghetti day.
Spaghetti Day. I love that.
Yeah.
It's very it seems inspired by like school lunches, you know, where like
Yeah.
you had like pizza days and hot dog days and stuff.
Yeah.
Also, like I am a little disappointed, I guess I could say, to find out that Taylor is a Twizzlers girly because I hate Twizzlers.
Yo, low key, I hate them too. Why are they always
And
stale?
ugh, they're so gross. And I was telling Josh about this because he loves Twizzlers. And
Uh-uh.
I was like, Josh, Taylor like wants Twizzlers in her dressing room. And and he was like, I bet she loves the nibs. Are you familiar with Twizzler nibs?
Yes, I don't like the hype. I don't like it.
I hate them. Like,
I
but
don't
when
like it.
Josh and I are on road trips, like a lot of times if one of us runs into like a gas station, if I'm like, hey, what do you want? He's like, get me some nibs. But then I have to smell
Dude,
them while he's eating them next to me in the car. I hate it. It's so gross.
I feel
I'm
like
really disappointed in her. She's let me down with this one.
I mean, we do love that she likes a Hershey's product. That, to be fair, she is
Yeah,
supporting
that's
her
true.
Pennsylvania born and bred roots. So we can give her that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let's get into her 2024 rider and what's included. But also, after reading those other more extreme ones, like Taylor's tour rider is so chill from what we
Yeah.
know of it from this.
Yeah. I also, I have to say, like, she's very brand specific. Like, she has brands
Yeah.
that she wants, unlike the other
Yeah.
ones.
That makes sense
So,
though. It's a lot of processed food.
yeah. Yeah. All right.
Uh,
Go ahead and read us through her writer.
okay, we've got 1 quart of 2% chocolate milk, 1 bottle of Welch's grape juice, 1 bag of Tostitos tortilla chips, 1 stick of butter, 1 jar of Pace picante sauce, mild, 1 2-cup bag of Kraft shredded cheddar cheese, 3 boxes of Kraft macaroni and cheese, 1 bag of Twizzlers red licorice, 1 pint of Ben and Jerry's chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream, as well as a pint of Ben and Jerry's chocolate brownie frozen yogurt, 1 box of microwave popcorn, buttered flavor, and 1 6-pack of Diet Pepsi. And then, according to entertainment reporter Dean McCarthy, there's Red Bull, mac and cheese, and by 11 a.m. every single day of her tour, she has to have a Starbucks iced Americano delivered to her room. When you're Taylor Swift, you can, which is true. And allegedly, her
Yeah.
Starbucks order is 1 grande iced caramel latte with 2 sweet and lows, plus 1 grande iced Americano with 2 sweet and lows and soy milk, and 1 slice of pumpkin loaf. So what do we think about this?
Let's work backwards. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The Starbucks order, we know that Taylor is a Starbucks lover. So,
Yeah.
um
Yeah, we do
and
know
I say
that.
that jokingly cuz everyone gets that lyric wrong.
Right.
Um but she had during Red's release, she had her Starbucks coffee, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
wasn't it just
which
a caramel latte?
it was a grande caramel non-fat latte. That was Taylor's latte.
Yeah.
Or Taylor's version. So it's
Taylor's
similar.
version. Yeah. She just gets hers iced. And with 2 sweet and lows, which is really sugary.
Honestly, the sweet and lows to me, that's like a major red flag. Because
it's giving
it like
diet
creeps
culture.
me out. It's giving what?
Like toxic diet culture.
Yeah, but you know what it makes me think of? Is my grandma who had like diabetes.
Oh,
like,
no.
My grandma always used like Sweet and Low and Splenda and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what it makes me think of.
Yeah. I mean, I love that she's addicted to her caffeine, has to have it by 11 a.m. Like, truly a relatable queen.
Yeah.
Except for me, it's like by 6 a.m. But yes, get it. Got it.
The thing I want to know
sodas?
Are both of these Starbucks drinks for her? Like, does she have a sweet one and a less sweet one? Or is like one of them for her mom or one of them for her like main bodyguard or someone who's like always with her?
I don't know. She's only getting 1 slice of pumpkin loaf.
1 slice, and they both have 2 sweet and lows. And like, that is specific.
That's for her. Ooh. That is truly for her. Let's flash forward to 300 takeout coffees later. Okay. She is doing a double order of coffee each time. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe she's saving one for later for a pick-me-up.
Yeah. The Red Bull
and the Diet Pepsi. Ugh. I'm worried about her.
I know.
Is she really eating all this while staying in top shape for this tour?
What I'm thinking is like this writer is like, these foods and these snacks are here for her in case she gets off the stage and she's like, I want some chips and salsa. Oh, we have that. Good. And then like the next night she comes off and she's like, I want some mac and cheese. And she can have some. Right? I mean, we have to talk about the mac and cheese.
Yeah. Let's get into it.
Like, she's getting 3 boxes of Kraft macaroni and cheese and a bag of Kraft cheddar cheese, shredded.
And the butter. The butter is for the cheddar, the mac and cheese, for sure. Yeah.
So, like, is she doctoring up her mac and cheese?
Probably.
Just saying.
She knows what's up. Also, all of this is so, like, pop star who's stuck in her teenage years, which she talks 100%. About all the time. Yeah, like this probably has not really changed in years for her.
Chocolate milk and grape juice,
dude. Like, I am all on board for the Welch's grape juice. That stuff, I like. If you put a bottle of that in front of me, I could go to town and drink that whole thing. Seriously,
it's been so long since I've had Welch's grape juice. I have to try it again.
You can't beat it, especially the white grape juice. Yeah.
I'll have to try it.
Ooh,
the Ben and Jerry's too. The Ben and Jerry's is like either chocolate chip cookie dough or chocolate like brownie. Relatable.
Yeah, but that's the frozen yogurt.
Yeah, that is weird. She's like, I want to be a little lighter today. Yeah.
Right. Okay, but in general, I am shocked at the amount of dairy on this list because I know a lot of artists who have to sing as much as she does are like straight vegan because dairy can make you like congested and it's like not good for your, singing voice.
Oh my God. The phlegm. There is no way she's having any of this before the tour begins. This is a post-tour snack, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But holy moly.
Yeah. But I think her grande iced caramel latte, it doesn't designate a specific kind of milk. So I wonder if that's whole milk in her
probably
normal latte. And then the second one has soy milk. Yeah. I don't know.
But yeah, there's a lot of dairy going on here. Butter. Yeah. There's a stick of butter involved. A stick of butter.
But back to the mac and cheese thing. You and I discussed mac and cheese a lot on our previous podcast called Passports and Pizza.
Sure.
And what was we determined at the time to be the best was the Cracker Barrel white cheddar mac and cheese.
So good.
Yeah, which to be honest, like I have never liked Kraft mac and cheese. Even as a kid, I was like snobby about it. I was like, this is not it. This is not
You
worth it.
knew.
I do. I love the Cracker Barrel though, but I have to shout out my new favorite mac and cheese situation is from Target. Okay.
Okay.
It is in the frozen section of the groceries at Target.
Okay.
It's technically a food for children. So it's going to be near like the other little frozen things that are for kids. There's
Okay.
a little baby elephant on the box. It's the Good and Gather pasta shells in a cheddar cheese sauce. So it's like a single serving, it's frozen. You microwave it. Um but I now keep this in my freezer at all times for whenever the craving strikes. It's just a single serving, but it's really good. It has like a little bit of carrots and butternut squash mixed into the sauce because it's for kids.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay.
But you wouldn't know.
Health
Like it probably
queen.
just adds a little bit of sweetness to it. But this with some freshly cracked black pepper on top of it, elite. Like
I bet.
it's now for adults. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna have to try this.
You really have to try it. I guess
You
it's kind of on like the pricey end because I want to say it's like $3 to $5 and it's a single serving. So not the cheapest in the world, but a great thing to have on hand for when you're like all of a sudden like I just need some mac and cheese and I don't want to have to work
well,
for it at all.
yeah, you did not steer me wrong on the Kraft or not the Kraft, the Cracker Barrel
Mm-hmm.
white cheddar.
Yeah.
The green box. If you haven't tried it, it's the green box. It's in like the prepared foods section, not the frozen section.
Yeah.
So I trust your
Yeah.
word on this. So
yeah, well you'll have to
truly.
report back after you've tried it.
Truly I do. Yes. But yeah, like she's just like a relatable queen. Literally, it's mac and cheese, Ben and Jerry's specifically, ice cream, cookie dough is like a classic all-American flavor. Brownie, I mean the frozen yogurt thing's a little strange, but microwave popcorn with a stick of butter, like classic indulgent food. Chips and mild. I mean, I'm a little upset she's not having more than a mild salsa. Like,
see, but this makes me feel better because I'm like, Taylor, I get it. Because Taylor is like me, a white girl with blonde hair and blue eyes from Central PA, and I also can only do mild salsa.
I mean, I'm sure she's probably just like not wanting heartburn, so I get it.
Yeah, I do feel like, well, what was up with that video? It was in like, was it in Miss Americana where she was like eating a burrito for the first time?
Yeah, and she stuck the chips in it. She's like, "You've done this." Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I don't
Which
know.
obviously that was just like an order from Chipotle. Like,
yeah.
somehow in my mind, like Taylor just like doesn't eat. So when I see pictures of her like eating a burrito, I'm like, oh yeah, she's a human.
Yeah. She needs to eat, especially if she's like up all night and like in the studio all day.
Yeah. I mean, chips and salsa, like you can just house chips and salsa too. Like I could just see her coming off stage with whoever's opening and just being like, yeah. And then like the backup dancers are there and she's like, you want some? And they're all just like eating like chips and just like downing chips and salsa. Yeah. Like what a freaking classic snack. Although for me, and I know you're the same way, I love chips and salsa, but I also love chips in that stupid Tostito cheese queso.
Oh yeah.
Dude. Forget about it. Forget about it.
Oh my
god. But yeah, classic snack. And then you talked about the sugar bombs of these drinks. Like they are so sugary. Chocolate milk, Welch's grape juice, Red Bull, Diet Pepsi, and these super sugary coffee drinks. Like, oh my god, sugar bombs.
Yeah. I also want to know like how much of this is for like like I said, is some of this for her mom? Is some of it for
Right.
her bodyguards? You know, because we know she takes care of her team.
Yeah.
And there's like she's barely ever alone, I'm sure.
Right.
So like, is the Diet
So,
Pepsi for her or is that for her mom? You know?
yeah, is Scott Swift back there being like, I gotta have my Diet Pepsi?
Yeah.
Like, is
Or his
that
buttered popcorn or
right?
whatever.
Right.
Maybe. I don't
It's
know.
just like she definitely has her comfort foods, which I love, and they're all
Hmm.
very like humble. Like
Yeah.
these are not like Erewhon organic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's a very humble queen.
Hmm. Well, should we get into what we would have in our own personal tour riders if we
Yeah.
were a Taylor Swift type of person?
Yeah, why don't you go first? Cuz you
Okay.
crush this.
Okay. Well, I would also do the Starbucks thing. Okay. My Starbucks order, my most common Starbucks order, which also thank God for the Starbucks app because even now, like if I have to order in person, I'll just show them my app and be like, can you
Mhm.
make this for me? Because I customize it so much. So I get a tall, flat white, but iced, which is not technical. Like a flat white should not be iced. But this is all about getting the
Right.
correct ratio of espresso to milk. And this is why I have to do it this way. I do a tall, flat white, iced, decaf with 4 shots and coconut milk. Okay. So that's my Starbucks order. And to go with that, I need a kitchen sink cookie from Panera. And this was
The
partially easy
kitchen
for me
sink
to think
cookie.
of because I had both of those things today. I was
Oh
living
my
my best
god,
life
treat
this
yourself.
afternoon because I had a reward
Truly.
in the Panera app for a free bakery treat, and it's expiring tomorrow. And like I said, I needed to get out of the house. So I ordered myself a little lunch from Starbucks and got a kitchen sink cookie for free, and also got Starbucks to go with my cookie as like my dessert. Okay.
The dream.
Um, yeah. And so I decided to also include my frozen Target mac and cheese that I mentioned earlier. I guess they would also have to provide a microwave, but it sounds like Taylor would have that too. Um,
Yeah.
and then I almost wrote like a frozen pizza, like a frozen pepperoni pizza with a jar of hot honey to drizzle on top of it. But then I realized like I don't want that pizza unless it's like actually baked in an oven, which I probably don't have access
Mhm.
to. So then I was like, maybe I just want local pizza delivered and have
Right.
like, you know, do a little taste tour of local pizzas around the country or whatever. Um,
Yeah.
and then this is where I'm a little bit of a diva because I would want room temperature bottles of Dasani water.
Okay, explain. Explain.
Okay. I don't like cold water. I like it to be room temperature. And also, Dasani is my favorite. Like, it tastes really good. I know some people hate Dasani, but it is my favorite. And I think to me, it tastes kind of sweet. So I don't know if they put something in it.
It
I
is
also
owned by
like,
Coca-Cola.
yeah. Um, but yeah, that would be my water of choice. And I want it room temp. Um, I also want something chocolate. I don't know if I want like a fancy chocolate bar or just like Milky Ways and Take Fives and stuff, like maybe like little ones so you can just snack on it. And then I want, and you know, I took a lot of, you know, tips from Taylor's list here, but I want chips, guac, and queso from Chipotle.
The trifecta.
Mm-hmm. Because honestly, I'm
Yeah,
not
that's
really a
a
chips and salsa person, but chips, guac, and queso, hell yeah,
yeah,
could eat that all
guac is
day.
going down. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Great writer. Honestly, very specific, very Sarah coded. So for me, I'm doing the Cracker Barrel white cheddar mac and cheese. Shout out to you
Mm-hmm.
for introducing that to me. That's like total comfort food.
Mm-hmm.
It is hard because like, is it a microwave situation? Probably. Like, and I don't really love that. Like, how are we preparing these
Yeah, because
foods?
wait, yeah. So then, how was Taylor doing that? Because even the Kraft
Because it
mac and
said
cheese, you do it on the
boxes.
stovetop.
Yeah, and it said
Yeah,
boxes, not like the cups, you know?
right.
So maybe there's like a little
Hot
stovetop
plate.
somewhere. Yeah, hot
Yeah,
plate, coffee machine, hot
maybe.
plate situation, microwave, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I'm assuming there's no oven. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
then I would want poppy raspberry rosé, my favorite
Mm-hmm.
poppy flavor. I said an iced coffee. Like I'm not specific, like surprise me. I like different types of like I don't
Mm.
need a specific type as long as it's something. Iced
Yeah.
though, because I'm an American. Like I need
Mm-hmm.
my iced coffee.
Yeah.
Sun-dried tomato sun chips. I love those
Nice.
chips.
Mm.
Like
Sounds good.
we're going to the beach in a couple days and the perfect beach sandwich for me
Mm-hmm.
includes a nice handful of these sun-dried tomato sun chips in the middle,
Mm.
smashed in between your like
Oh,
meats and cheeses. It's so good.
that sounds
Um,
good.
Peanut butter M&Ms.
The
Gotta have
best.
them. The
Not
best.
peanut,
Peanut butter.
peanut
Right.
butter. Yeah.
Peanut butter. Um, I also would definitely add Take Fives.
Mm-hmm.
I love a Take Five.
Yeah.
And then this is a new thing for me, the Nerds gummy clusters.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god. If I love those things. They're so good.
Wait, so this is not the nerds ropes. This is something
No.
else.
I
Wait, let me
mean to
Google
me
this. I gotta see what this looks
it's
like.
basically like a Nerds rope but like a little cluster of them like into little
Okay.
bits.
I
They're
have not
delicious.
tried these. I would
Highly
probably like them.
recommend. You would like them.
Yeah, I'd be into
They're a
this.
great like they're a great like movie snack. Um
Mm.
they're
Okay.
just like fun. They're text for me it's like the texture of like the chewy inside and then like the sour crunch of a Nerds on the outside. So
Yeah.
good. Um and yeah, that's pretty much mine. I mean, I might yeah, like I would totally love to have a pizza after I do a 3-hour tour.
Mm-hmm.
Um but do we have an oven? Not sure.
Right. I also wonder if
Anyway.
the mac and cheese thing is just so that she has it there and then she can take it with her back to her hotel room or wherever she's staying. So she just like always knows that cuz I'm sure like if I were her, she let's say her concert ends around like 11, right? And then she's probably not getting back to her hotel till like close to 12 or something. I would then need to wind down. Like I'm
A
probably not
hundred
going to
percent.
sleep until 2 or 3 if I'm her. Um so yeah, I might get back to my hotel and make mac and cheese and then binge watch something on Netflix, you
Right.
know?
And then I
Maybe
fall
that's her
asleep.
routine. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we know that she leaves the tour pretty quickly. Like at least
Yeah.
the arena. She leaves the arena pretty quickly. We
Yeah.
don't know the time frame in which she leaves the actual stadium.
Right.
So I'd imagine she pretty much gets out of there as soon as she can. I mean, the woman has to sleep, right?
Yeah, but think about how long it took us to leave the parking lot and then the city when we went to the show. So, like, if she's in a car like the rest of us, maybe she kind of waits it out and stays
Yeah,
like
maybe.
safe backstage, you know, until the place is kind of cleared out.
Yeah, maybe. Except when she did the getaway car with Travis.
Well, that was from the game, though. That was from
Oh,
his
you're
game.
right. Why did I think she was
Yeah.
wearing like the Midnight's bodysuit?
Well, there was another time that, like, we saw her in the Midnight's bodysuit with, like, the umbrella over her to go straight onto
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah,
plane.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
there have definitely been some times where she has to get out of there. But that, in that case, she's probably going to her plane. But even still, she'd have to be driven to her plane, wherever that is. I don't
Yeah.
know. I need her to write a book about all of this random stuff.
We need
Or a
an Eras
documentary.
Tour
We just need all of it.
documentary. Yep.
Like
Gotta have it.
now I do really want the Eras Tour documentary to include what is she doing when she gets out of the concert, and when and where is she making her mac and cheese. I want
Need
to
to
see all
know
of it.
like when she's done on a Sunday and like she has like 3 days before she has to go to the next city. Does she just like veg out ever? Or is she like constantly doing stuff? Like now I'm going to this city because we have to film this music video secretly.
Yeah, well, I know in the one interview, I think she said like the day after like a set of shows, she basically doesn't leave her bed except to get snacks.
Oh,
Like,
right, because
remember
we saw
when like Travis went to
Yeah.
Trader Joe's to get her ice cream?
Yeah. Love
So we
it.
know she probably takes at least one day to recover.
Yeah.
But that makes me think though, remember like last summer, well, she was on the US leg, so I guess that's different. Because remember, in between cities, she was always flying back to New York City, and we kept seeing her at the recording studio. And we know now she was working on Tortured Poets. Well, like with her being in Europe and everything, although you know what? She could be going to recording studios in like London and stuff. And maybe we just aren't
100%.
seeing it because it could just be a little more under wraps.
Yeah, I mean, she was going to Electric Lady Studios in New York, which is like one of the most famous studios in New York City that she's known to go to, her and Jack.
Yeah.
So that's more of a public scene than anything else in Europe. Yeah. I don't know.
Interesting to think about, though. I don't know if she's been in a recording studio in a little bit here.
I don't know.
So who knows?
That's why I think she probably, I mean, in my head, I think she's done with Reputation. She's recorded it already. Like maybe it's getting produced, it's getting mastered, it's doing all that. I don't know about Debut, but I think Reputation is done because she was seen wearing a lot of black for a couple months there. But yeah, is she recording anything right now? We know she's writing. But is she recording?
She's always writing.
Yeah. Our girl.
I don't know. All right. Well, that's Taylor's tour writer. So she loves her comfort food. She loves her sweets. She loves her butter and her mac and cheese.
She loves dairy.
She does. She's a Pennsylvania girl.
Truly.
I bet Taylor loves mini golf and ice cream too.
100%. In another lifetime, her and Travis are just playing mini golf together.
Oh my God. The two of them would absolutely do that. For sure. Oh my God. Wait, didn't the house that he bought, didn't it have its own mini golf or something? Or am I completely making that up?
That is crazy if that's true. That's nuts.
I might have made that up. Maybe I dreamt that. I don't know.
A mini golf course? That's like very rich behavior.
Yeah. I feel like he'd be into that.
Yeah.
He would totally be into
he does
that.
love golf.
Yeah.
We know he likes golf, so.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, they totally would go mini golfing together.
100%.
Oh
my God. Well, guys.
So anyway, so our next episode, I think we're going to do a song again. Have we decided which song we're doing next?
We're sort of between two. Smallest Man That Ever Lived, or what was the other one that we said?
Guilty as Sin and
Guilty as Sin.
Who's Afraid of Little Old Me.
Right. So any of those, guys, let us know.
Yeah. Let us know.
We love to do the deep dives.
Anyway, but thanks for joining us. And reminder again to please check out our YouTube channel if you're a YouTube person. And also, even if you're not, it would be a huge help to us to just pop over there and find us and hit subscribe, because we need a certain number of subscribers before we can monetize. So It's just a way to help us out.
Yeah. And of course, you can give us a follow on other socials like TikTok and Instagram. We are at Blank Plate Pod there. And yeah, we mentioned if you're a video podcast watcher, make sure you subscribe on YouTube.
Yep. And then you can check out our website at blankplatepodcast.com. You can send us an email at blankplatepod@gmail.com. And you can also leave us a voicemail or text us at 717-382-8313.
Yes. And until then, we've had the time of our lives with you.
And you know it's time to go. So, bye.
It's time to go. Bye.
Bye.